So hello guys, I have an amazing host here, Jason Brown. He's actually now on European tour, right?
Yeah.
He's our Chairman 500, our mentor. He has in his organization, I think 80,000 people right now.
Yeah, now over 100,000.
Over 100,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And I want to just share with you guys his story because his story is very powerful. He was a pizza driver, right?
Yeah.
I was also a pizza driver, so I felt quite close to you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened when you made the decision?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was pursuing entrepreneurship from 2013. I used to work in a nightclub. I was making good money, like $8,000 to $10,000 a month, so six-figure income. And I made a decision that I want to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to go all in on network marketing. You know, I saw people that were making good money, and I had never seen that before. So I went and pursued that. And for the first year and a half, I didn't have a job. I just worked off credit cards. I worked off savings account. And as I built up debt and lost my savings account, I had to go get a extra job. And so my friend, he had a delivery company, so you could work for sushi, Chinese food, pizza, flowers, just delivering. And so I actually went and got a job there. I was working 7 days a week delivering food, flowers, whatever, making extra cash. And it was crazy because I had this breaking point, maybe a year and a half in, where I was delivering sushi one night, and I knew the address looked very familiar. And I'm just thinking, I think I know this person, And as I pulled up and I went to the door and I knocked, it was my ex-girlfriend and her best friend at the door. And I'm just thinking, damn. I'm like, this sucks. And I was not, but I can tell you, I wasn't embarrassed that I was there. I was embarrassed that I had not made my full commitment. And in that moment, I realized that it wasn't my scenario that was embarrassing. It was the fact that I had been pursuing entrepreneurship for almost 3 years, but I had never taken that commitment, that all in, that jump, and burned the ships. And that day I went home and I burned the ships, and I decided to, move out of that environment. I decided to put my back against the wall and really go all in. And when I did it, that's when my big momentum came. And, it's obviously also having the right company. Around that time is when I found our current company. And I thought it was amazing that we can find a company in network marketing where people don't have to recruit in order to make money. So it's not just relying on, people selling people on a dream, but we're educating people on how to turn financial profits. And so I again, made the decision, burned the ships, found the right vehicle at the same time. And that's what really turned things up. It was a mixture of having the right vehicle and making that commitment. And so some people make the commitment, but they don't have the right vehicle. Some people have the right vehicle, but they never make the commitment. And so it's a combination of having the right vehicle and making that all-in commitment that will cause you to be successful. And the reason why is because people follow people who know where they're going. People follow people who are certain about their future and about their destination. And so until you make that commitment, you're the captain of a ship that doesn't have a destination. And once you're the captain of a ship that does have a destination, you become like Christopher Columbus, right? Where he didn't know where he was going, but he knew he was going to the promised land. He knew he was going to a place. And he had the right vehicle. He had a ship that was strong enough to get him across the ocean. And it brought followers. People said, he is so confident that he knows we're going to a better place. I'm willing to take that risk. And that's exactly how you have to treat your business. You become the captain of the ship in the right vehicle, you know where you're going, and you can only go one place, to the top.
So right now, this is like 7 years, right?
Almost 6.5 years.
So 7 years ago, you was in debt like 70,000, right?
70,000.
Why do you think it happened like that?
Because there's a cost to failure, right? And you have to fail to succeed. And so the $70,000 in debt is not anything more than a scar. It's a scar to remind you of where you came from. I think if you just become rich overnight, or you just become successful overnight, in the last 4 years I made $10 million, but the couple years before that I was minus 70, 80,000, 60,000, 50,000. So if I was never broke, if I was never in debt, if I was just always making money, I wouldn't have the appreciation for money, the respect for money that I have now.
And did you have like some kind of toxic feeling about it? Like
At what point?
like when you have this debt, 70,000.
No, because I looked at it as good debt. Most of my debt was education, right? Paying for conferences, traveling, paying for education, traveling. My college was a part of that debt as well. So I looked at it as good debt, right? There's good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is like buying cars and watches and stuff you can't afford. Good debt is education, learning, growing. So there's a big difference. Debt is actually not a bad thing. Some people think that having debt is a bad thing, but if that debt is teaching you stuff that can make you money, right? So 70 grand in debt has helped me make over 10 million. That's good debt.
I'm very happy that I know this right now. That's because I thought it happened because maybe you was I don't know, doing some crazy stuff. That's actually very good to know it, because I saw a lot of people start businessing and they are in the same situation, and now I actually can support them with this information, because people usually also take bank loan for their scholarship, right?
Yeah.
So they can see it as the same way, right?
100%. I mean, if you think about it, the college system, you borrow $20,000 in the U.S. You borrow $10,000, $20,000 a year for 4 to 6 years. So you're borrowing 100 to 150K without a guarantee for a job. You don't even know that you're going to get that money back. Think about that. And so when people are trying to start a business, in my opinion, even if you're 5 to 10 grand in debt and it's smart debt, go for it. Because you're investing in a skill, you're investing in learning, and you can't grow without learning. So it goes hand in hand, and it's actually now an intelligent debt instead of like a dumb debt, right? High IQ debt, low IQ debt.
And you always talk about ego, and I know that in this business there is a lot of like noise situation and also the bitterness, the hard time. And do you think this all is happening because of ego and all this like a kind of let's say mindset illusions and
Yeah, 100%. I mean, ego, pride, all of those characteristics are the reason for turmoil in the world that we live in today. Because somebody thinks that their way is the only way, they think that their strategy is the only strategy, and they're not willing to listen. And I think one of the things that's helped me develop a reputation as a leader that people respect and people honor around the world is that I listen, I don't just, and I observe, and I'm strategic when I speak. It's not just my way that works, it's a combination of all the ways. And it's kind of like the United Nations, right? The idea, whether it's working or not, the idea is that we don't just have one way to do it, but we take everybody's view. And people who have ego, they sit in the center, okay? This plant is in the side of the table. It's just one piece, but if it's in the center, it becomes the center of the table. It takes all the attention. That's ego, right? Ego says, well, I'm the plant, I'm beautiful, I'm gonna take up the camera view so we can't see everybody else. But when we move the plant to the side, now the plant is an aspect like us. So that's ego. Ego blocks out everybody else so it can be seen first. Wow. Humility is sharing the space.
Wow. I remember the time when we had a hard time in our team, and you sent me the message. So you said it's about perceiving.
Perception, yeah.
Yeah, and that time I was like, all day I was like, it was like in my mind, yeah. So I was like trying to see the good thing on it, and it really touched me. And I really like that you were responding. It's really nice, because when we feel we have connection with someone, it gives us always the energy to continue to go,
Yeah.
And I know that you lost also 9,000 people in your business, right?
Yeah, in 1 month.
Yeah. And this is actually probably maybe the biggest transformation of your mindset, right?
Yeah, because I think we'll wrap up with this. It's a powerful way to leave it. I think you have to find gratitude in everything. It's actually one of the biggest secrets is when things are going your way, you're always grateful. But as soon as things don't go your way, you're not grateful. And I think finding gratitude in everything is so important because, you know, life is not just going to be a situation with ups, right? Eventually, just like trading, you go up and then it has to come back. And you go back and then it has to come up. And so everything in life is like this cycle of give and receive, you know, send and return. And so I find gratitude in everything. And I've had points in my business where, you know, we lost 50% of our sales in 2 days. I've had points in my business where thousands of customers have left to go to another system. But I don't look at that as a failure. I actually am grateful because sometimes in a moment, there's too much noise. And when those 6 to 9,000 people left my business, actually happened twice. First time was 6, second time was 9. When those people left my organization, left the business, I actually embraced the silence. I embraced the free time. I embraced the downtime to improve the system, to improve the skills, to improve the culture. Because there's always a reason why somebody would leave a company or leave an organization or leave a system. And if I can identify why, then I can identify how to solve it and how to prevent it in the future. So don't look at failure as a bad thing. Look at failure as a good thing, as a constructive thing, on how you can get better as a leader. Then you grow and you don't make the same mistake over and over again. So, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank
Andre,
you so much.
Thank you, bro. Our lunch is here. I can sense it. But I appreciate you guys. Stay connected. Stay plugged in. See you at the top.